Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, in Season 1, Episode 8 of Doom Patrol, Danny Patrol. You know, I saw that this was going to be called Danny Patrol 2 weeks ago when I did the Mento explained in a minute thing, 10 things about Mento explained in a minute. And I thought to myself, I should probably do Danny Patrol. I should do Danny the Street, because why the hell wouldn't I do Danny the Street? One of the most lovable characters in all of comic book history. Also technically one of the most powerful. And maybe I'll get around to doing it because I totally 100% my fault, dropped the ball on it. Yes, I'm busy as hell, but I know how to manage my time. I know how to prioritize things. And I just completely dropped the ball on that one. So it is what it is. But if somebody does say, hey, Professor Bill, could you tell us about Danny the Street? Sure. Watch this episode. 100% this episode is ripped straight from the comic books. This character is ripped straight from the comic books. There really isn't much of a difference between the comic book version and this version. And I haven't read every Danny the Street story, but I've read a lot of them. I went out of my way to find them because this is a freaking amazing character. The way he communicates is exactly the way they showed on the TV series, on this episode. Yes, he is gay. He does help to hide gay people. He tries to help anybody who's considered a misfit, you know what I'm saying? But here it's only represented as the LGBTQ community. And whatever. This episode wound up delivering a really cool message that I hope a lot of people pay attention to, namely that we're all human beings and maybe we can all get along if we put aside, the differences and focus on the similarities. But hey, what the hell do I know? This character, dude, ripped straight from the comic books. There's not a whole lot more I could add to the character except right here. This was awesome. A comic book that I don't own, but I wish I did, and I'm probably going to have to try and look for the comic book now, although it's probably going to skyrocket in cost at this point, is, I don't remember the name of the comic book. I looked it up 2 weeks ago when I was looking up more. I was like, is there something I'm missing with Danny the Street that I can mention when I do my 10 things about video? And no, just it is what it is. With Danny, there was a moment where he... what was it? He became Danny the World. He actually became like Mogo is a world. Mogo from the Green Lantern Corps. He actually became an entire world, and Crazy Jane was with him. And then the world was attacked. Something happened it was 2 weeks ago that I read this thing on Wikipedia. The world got attacked. Something happened where Crazy Jane had to escape, and she only grabbed a brick from Danny. The rest of Danny was destroyed, but the brick was still okay, so now he's called Danny the Brick. So, Danny the Street, Danny the World, Danny the Brick, he could be Danny the Universe, he could be Danny the Butt Plug, he could be Danny whatever he needs to be, okay? Anything that he needs to be. I don't know why Butt Plug came out. But anyway, I imagine he could. Danny the Brick is freaking hysterical, though. That is awesome. Yeah, dude, there was so much awesome about this episode. I say this all the time. My wife came in when the cabaret scene was on. She's like, are you watching Burlesque? I'm like, ooh, Cher and Christina Aguilera. How you doing, Christina? No, actually, I'm not. I've never seen that. But I'm watching this, and it's Doom Patrol. It's the greatest show on TV. If she didn't have a headache, I'd be like, hey, listen, what do you say we go ahead and watch all this stuff? And I should probably try and put this on my my PlayStation instead of only watching on my computer. But whatever. Anyway, holy hell, this was awesome. We actually get Larry Trainor doing karaoke at one point, but it's not everything that we think it is. And eventually he does do it, but this kind of it's almost like a coitus interruptus dream. You know what I'm saying? It just completely, screw you, dude, not happening. I don't sing. I can relate to that. Now, look, a lot of people say that the scariest thing in the world that, you'll ever try and do is public speaking. It's not death, because I think most of us understand that we're not getting out of this thing called life. We're alive. We're not getting out of it alive. You know what I'm saying? So I think most of us are mature enough to understand that. But as far as public speaking, nope, fate worse than death. Nope, I'll never public speak. A lot of people say that. Obviously, I do not have this problem. And yes, I will also speak before large crowds. I have no problem with it. Absolutely none. More than that, I believe that this translates over to I also am cool with doing karaoke. I do have those senses of, oh my God, I'm going to get up in front of all these people. What if they don't like it? What if it... And then I'm just like, wait a second. F those people. I'm not singing for them. I'm singing for me, dude. I'm about to belt out these lyrics. I was at the, about, here I am, rock you like a hurricane. Like, dude, that's me. And I sound a little bit like Lemmy Kilmister, a little bit like Triple H, but, that's how I sing. Shut up. Don't judge me, all right? But like that's how I sing. And I sing. And it's not even singing. It's more like just screaming. I scream, okay? I scream into a microphone, and it kind of goes with a rhythm if there's music in the background. And I don't care. I call that karaoke, damn it. And I don't care if somebody's paying attention or ignoring me or cheering or saying boo, oh my God, shut up. I don't care. I'll walk right over to the dude. Here I am. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Cry? Cry for me, bitch. Anyway, like I love just going out and screaming like that. So that was really cool. Like for me especially, that was an extremely cool scene. Getting to see Larry Trainor just out there, like at the end when him and Vic came back, and he's all like, "Hey, what the heck is this?" That was great. Seeing Robot Man doing his thing was excellent. He was doing his little robot dance, and more than that, he's just doing a whole bunch of dancing. They said flash dance. Did they say flash dance or whatever it was, footloose, whatever it was. It was all cool. Larry Trainor. Back to Larry Trainor again a little bit earlier. This is the episode that I hope fully brings him out of his shell. I don't think it's any coincidence, and I only noticed it with this issue, that we've got a mummy in this TV show that also co-stars Brendan Fraser. I'm just saying, am I the only one who noticed that? Maybe I am the only one who noticed it this late in the game. But this was awesome, dude. Seeing him actually finally come out of his shell, getting to see a little bit more of what happened to him, why he's so bottled up. You know what I'm saying? It makes a lot of sense. I didn't know that the Explosive Ordnance Division, the EOD as they called themselves, messed with him like that. I didn't know that he was experimented on afterwards. I just assumed that they were just like, he was in the hospital and then Niles Calder came and got him and brought him out. No, apparently he was experimented on for a really long time. I never had to experience this, thank God. But I was in basic training in 1993. And I was just turning 18 while I was already in basic. So, I signed up when I was 17 years old. And what happens? They have, when I was in basic, they explained to us how we are GIs. We are government issued. That's what GI Joe means. You're a government issued Joe. That means that we are government property, essentially. What happens if they... the Desert Storm was already over in 93. There was still some activity going on over there. We still had a military presence over there. It never ended. But anyway, there was one drill sergeant, I believe, Ennis? I think his name was Sergeant Ennis. Anyway, he was like, when we were doing our chemical mass, not our chemical mass, I want to call them gas mass, but what there was a specific name we had to call them, the chemical gear, I think they called it, whatever it was. Special mask that's more than just gas and all that stuff, but wasn't good for chemicals specifically. Anyway, protective mask. They just called it protective mask. That's what it was. Yeah, they told us how when we're over there, if Saddam launches one of his gas attacks, which turns out he never actually did launch one of the gas attacks. He just launched some scuds close to our people, and there was more than enough sand and wind that it looked like there was a gas release. So everybody, put on their mop gear and, completely freaked out. What do you call it? They said that if you are if you're there and you're the lowest rank, they're gonna go up to you and they're going to be like, listen, I need you to give me your rifle. Like, oh, okay. Somebody, of high rank, of superior rank. Oh, okay. Here you go, Sergeant. And of course, you never hand someone a loaded rifle or a chambered rifle, so you take everything out and you relinquish your weapon as you're ordered to. Then they're going to ask you for your grenades and whatever else you got on you. And then they're going to tell you, now I need you to take off your gas mask, your protective mask. It's like, wait, what? Everybody's in their protective gear, their mop gear, and you alone are supposed to take off your mask. Why? Well, because there is no way to tell if there's gas or any kind of, radiation. Well, radiation, yes, but gas in the air currently. There's no way to do that. We've got the little chemical tabs that we can check our canteens and certain other devices if there's the presence of some kind of a problem there. But what if we're in our protective gear for 6 hours and we're like, okay, we don't want to stay in our protective gear all this time, so we've got to check to see if it's clear to breathe. So they'll say, take off your mask. If you refuse, you will be shot in the knee, and then they will take off your mask. Now, I don't know how true this is. This might have just been Sergeant Ennis messing with us. It's perfectly possible. He was kind of a jokester. He gave us more labels, more names, more nicknames than anybody else, more handles, they're called handles, than anybody else ever did. I was Private Psycho. Just let it go. I wanted Private Kung Fu. It became Private Psycho real quick. That's cool. What was it? Anyway, that's what he explains to us, and we will have to do that because we are government issue. So the idea of, hey, you're a part of the military, we can do whatever we want to you, rings true to my ears, at least, that this is indeed the way that it works. You take off your chemical gear or your mop gear when you're told to, your protective mask, and if you die, okay, boys, we got to keep our masks on for another couple hours, and then we'll try again later. And yes, it is the lowest ranking, which also usually means the lowest or the youngest in age person. So yeah, freaky, right? Anyway, yeah. so all of that, I'm just like, yeah, that's a shame because I can actually see that happening. I can totally see something like that happening. You get to be a hero. He's already a hero, dude. He signed up. Don't. When you enlist, you're a hero as it stands, and that's just all. That's facts right there. All right, there is no intelligent counter argument to that. So you hear nonsense like that, that's the kind of person who deserves to be slapped. I really hope something bad happened to that person at some point. But anyway, yeah, he's going to be on the radar now because he tells him, this is who I am. But we get to see him get into a fist fight. We get to see him actually be a badass, and I loved that. Absolutely loved that scene. Anyway, as far as the social message though for this episode, like the whole idea of LGBTQ rights, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I'm not a member of the community, so I'm not a spokesman for it. I have no right to be. I've never had to experience nonsense like that. Well, except in the military. Back when I was in, they used to call all of us gay just to see, you looking at me, boy? Are you a F word? Yeah, they would do that all the time because, and of course we'd be like, no, Sergeant. You know what I'm saying? My masculinity depends on it. We were all soldiers. It doesn't matter if you're gay or not. You're still a soldier. There's not a lot more masculine than that. Even if you're a female. Yeah, I'll argue that. The standards of what we on average consider to be masculinity, yeah, I think that soldiering proves that more than any other profession out there. Sorry, construction worker, blacksmith. Nope, sorry. I think that soldier kind of beats that. Anyway, I thought it was a really cool message. And unfortunately, there are a lot of people in the comic book community who usually aren't very knowledgeable in the comic book community. They call themselves comic skaters. If you're going to get offended, you should leave now. Just saying. Also, unsubscribe, whatever you need. Whatever you need to do to get into your safe space, because I know you don't need safe spaces when you're in your safe space. Either way, there are people who really don't know anything about comic books because they'll say things like, oh, yeah, man, comic books never had this whole social justice message. Yeah, they did. Since the very first superhero, Superman, there's always been a social justice message. Always. Batman didn't exactly do it, but Wonder Woman did. Phantoma did. The Hawk family did. You name it. And then we get into Marvel, of course, which really has always gotten into it. That's just what comic books are. Comic books are a literature. Yes, literature. It's a literary way of getting a message across. And regular books do it too. Dude, every place, every form of art, almost every art form is an expression, but almost every art form is an expression of, something within that you're trying to get out, some kind of a message of peace, of harmony, of something along those lines. Or sometimes it's just, the negative kind of propaganda, which is going to try and lead people to war and rally them, into, a common cause of hatred and bigotry. Is what it is. But comic books, have for a very long time been a medium of equal opportunities for everyone, regardless of race, ethnicity, religion, or sexual orientation. We used to say sexual preference. Now we don't say that anymore because we know a little bit better. But yeah, dude. And it's funny because there are people in the comics gay community who be like, listen, man, I started off reading comic books in the late 80s with the X-Men. That right there should be a disqualifier. That you're too dumb to realize that the most social justice-y type of comic book in the world was in fact the X-Men at the time. Oh, there were plenty of others. But yeah. And you could argue, yeah, but it wasn't so blatant. It doesn't matter if it's blatant or not. If it's too blatant for you, then stop reading the comic books. Maybe you were too young and stupid and immature to understand that stuff when you were reading the comic books back in the 80s. Maybe you were a little 14-year-old, still wet behind the ears. You didn't get life, and you didn't understand the messages that got across. That had gotten across to you. Look, I'm even kind of a late bloomer in that regard because I remember sitting down watching the X2, the X-Men 2. Movie in theaters, and that scene where Bobby Drake, Iceman, goes to his parents' house and everybody's talking and whatnot, and his mom goes and says to him, have you ever tried not being a mutant? And I was like, wow, that hit hard home because it kind of felt like she was saying, it's exactly like, what people say, have you ever tried not being gay? And according to my two gay co-workers and a very select few gay people who I knew, I wouldn't have even called them friends at the time because it wasn't the right thing to do. Everybody's stupid at some point. What do you call it? Like, I saw that and I just, like, I remember what happened because I've seen the movie several times afterwards, but I remember just thinking to myself, X-Men has always been saying that, haven't they? Not just about gay people, but about everyone. X-Men has always been about unity. It took until the X-Men 2 movie came out for me to actually get that because I was young and dumb reading the comic books. Is what it is, man. I was young and dumb and I didn't see North Star as being gay. But when I was reading the X-Men comic books, when I was reading the Alpha Flight comic books especially, I didn't understand that North Star was gay. There he is, swimming with a guy, living with a guy, hanging out and like getting really close and touchy-feely with a guy. And I'm just like, reading my comic book. Wow, North Star's sister is hot. Aurora is hot. Yep, Jean Marie Bubler is hot. And her brother was gay. And later on, when all of a sudden he gets married, why did they make him gay? What was the purpose of that? Like I said, everybody's stupid sometimes. I was effing stupid. I didn't get it. Is what it is. Hopefully at some point some of these comic skaters get one of those wake-up moments where like, oh, wow, I was really stupid. But until then, there's shows like this and episodes like this that hopefully get people to understand this was a beautiful, beautiful episode. And I really hope that more people can see this. And if not for the overall community, like the overall, by community I mean this world village, this global village that we're in, I hope that at the very least, gay people, LGBTQ people are actually treated as people. And they'll look at this and say, you know what? They're not really that bad, Yeah, I hope that you're not totally offended by a social justice, PDA moment in my review, but yeah, this was just a really awesome episode in an amazing TV series that I hope never stops. As long as they got these kinds of writers writing these kinds of stories, I hope this never ends. This was amazing. Absolutely amazing. I can't wait to buy all of it on DVD when it comes out and sit down or you know what? Actually, by that time, it'll probably be on Netflix. And I know I have Netflix on my TV, so on my PlayStation. So we can watch it then. I can actually sit down and watch all the episodes again with my wife. That would be really cool because I know that she will absolutely love this, and she'll probably get mad at me doing all those little fake wife punches. Psh, how come you never showed me this show before? You knew it existed. Anyway, guys, yeah, I'll leave it as I typically leave it. Best show on TV. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.